Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we exchange information with one another. I usually share headlines from our city, our state, and our country. You share questions, ideas, and suggestions that you have about Puerto Vallarta and living here as a community of English speaking locals. And we combine all this information. We put it to good use as we try to have the best time possible here in Puerto Vallarta. Today is Wednesday, January 4th, and we have a little bit of news, not a lot of stuff out there, but I do have a couple of stories to share with you that have to do with my activities in town yesterday, and also a story about the Rosca de Reyes, which is this very lovely bread that we tend to eat this time of year. We're going to talk about that later on today in the broadcast. But first, let me welcome everyone this morning. I see that our favorite punster is joining us today. Raymond, it is great to see you. I hope life is good for you north of the border. And we'll take a look at some of your other good mornings later on. But Raymond stuck out. As we know, Raymond was for many years the owner of Artisan Bakery. He was succeeded by our friend Bill, who purchased it recently. They are both lovely members of our community. Anyhow, if you are watching live for the first time this morning, please feel free to let us know by writing the word new in your comment, and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice welcome. If you have something really important that you wish to bring up during the broadcast, it helps a great deal if you can add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. We'll take a look at those during our second half. And of course, this morning, I'm wondering what your plans are for 2023. I don't like the word resolutions but I'm wondering what you are planning to do with yourself during this coming year that may be slightly different, maybe better than what you did last year. Feel free to throw that into your comments, and we'll take a look at what everybody is up to. But first, let us have a quick look at the news and take it from there. Well, we start with SEAPAL, our favorite waterworks office. They took to their Facebook page yesterday to announce that this morning there will be low water pressure in colonias El Centro, El Cerro, Emiliano Zapata, El Caloso, and 5 de Diciembre this morning and until 7 p.m. due to new water main connections. We have many friends that live in several of these neighborhoods, and we know that a lot of you that watch Coffee and Headlines may be living in these communities or these colonias. So if you're experiencing some water shortage this morning, it's not your imagination, it's SEAPAL up to something good, I hope. The issue of whether it is legal or not, or customary or not, to sell stuff or mainly food, at Puerto Vallarta's main plaza continues to be an issue and a problem. For many tourists, it is a fun, easy way to engage in our local tradition of eating out. But for many established businesses in the area, it represents unfair competition. By law, you see, a limited number of permits are granted by the city for vendors along the Malecon extension between Los Arcos Amphitheater and the Rio Cuale pedestrian bridge. And those permits are fine, and those vendors are doing fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. The beef is not with them. The problem is that City Hall has not emitted any permits for the food vendors at the main plaza, or so they say. And neither has the local DIF office, the Integral Family Development Office, or the city's Cultural Institute. So, who gives permits to these people for selling food and chingaderas on the main plaza? Well, that seems to be the question, isn't it? Our Mayor Michel, God bless him, he says, in Mexico City's Paseo de la Reforma, they sell chingaderas. Well, he didn't say chingaderas, but they sell stuff there. And in the Zócalo in Mexico City, they sell stuff as well. But Mayor Michel was quickly reminded by his own council that it is by law that nothing can be sold in City Hall's very own front yard. So there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, if you walk by and you see some yummy sopes or tacos being sold there, you're not going to think twice and you're probably going to eat them. But this continues to be a fact. It is not fair to local businesses that have to pay rent, have to pay taxes, and so forth and so on. Will this ever go away? Well, probably not during this current administration. One more. As we've been announcing, Noticias PV reminds us that with inflation now up to 7.77%, we can see a price increase in basic food items and other items as well, including the traditional King's Day bread, which is expected to be 33% more expensive than last year. Now, what's the deal with this bread that crops up in every bakery and supermarkets this time of year? We'll take a look at that a little more closely right after our weather break. By Mercy's speed-addled brain, it's smurfing sunny. That's what our snarky weatherman has to say today. It is 26 degrees, feels like 27. It is 78 degrees Fahrenheit, and humidity is up to 62%. Our weather forecast for this morning is we're going to have a clear day with a high of 30 and a low of 19. Tomorrow, Thursday, it'll be a humid day with a high of 31 and a low of 20. And then Friday, we'll enjoy a humid day with a high of 30 and a low of 19. And that is our news and weather segment. So now let's talk about the Rosca de Reyes. Let's talk about this tradition, where it came from. If by any chance you have not seen one ever, this is what they look like. This is a Rosca de Reyes, or king's bread. It has an oval shape, and it's made with a soft and sweet, and some might say habit-forming dough. And it is decorated with crusty sugar batter and pieces of caramelized fruit. Now, some say this is an edible representation of an Advent wreath, an Advent crown, while others believe it to be a representation of the jeweled crowns worn by the three wise men who arrived to visit baby Jesus bearing gifts on January 6th, which is coming up in 2 days. What we do know is that, for example, for some traditional Mexican families, children receive holiday gifts from the three wise men on the morning of January 6th and not on December 25th by way of Santa Claus. Although some Mexican families also enjoy welcoming gifts on both dates. But back to the bread, we know that the bread tradition came from Spain originally, and we know to be careful when we chew into it. You see, prior to baking, it is customary to add these rather abstract figurines of allegedly baby Jesus into the batter, such that if you cut a slice of bread and a figurine appears within your slice, or even worse, if you take a carefree bite and your teeth land on the hard plastic, two things can happen. Well, one thing will happen for sure, but two things can happen. You may end up having to visit a dentist if you chewed with too much enthusiasm. And the one thing that will definitely happen is if you end up with a baby Jesus figurine in your slice, you are, by tradition, responsible for providing tamales. Tamales for all those people that were present when you were enjoying your bread. And these tamales are enjoyed on February 2nd, which is Dia de la Candelaria or Purification Day. February 2nd happens to be 40 days after Jesus was born. And by Jewish tradition and historical fact, children are taken to temple 40 days after they are born for purification. So what is this business of pre-Hispanic and Catholic and Jewish traditions all mixed together? We may get into that in the near future. But the fact remains, if you chew or if you land on one of these white figurines, you will be expected to bring tamales for everyone present. And did I tell you that you will gain weight if you indulge too much? Mexico's Social Security Institute reminds us that a 100-gram portion, which is probably tiny, will set you back a lofty 387 calories. So don't be like me. I love my King's Day bread. It is quite yummy. I don't usually buy a large piece. The good thing is that at supermarket you can find large ones and small ones as well. And if you've never tried it, it is yummy. It is quite good. Oof. Excuse my throat this morning. Um, I have some updates on some things. Yesterday, I had a lovely day in town. I say in town because I live near Versalles, and for me, in town means going into Emiliano Zapata in El Centro. So, in Emiliano Zapata, I enjoyed a lovely lunch with friends at Let's Pho PV. I did not order pho. I ordered a wonderful fried rice with pork, and it was absolutely delicious. And I think I posted something about that last night on Facebook. If you haven't experienced this wonderful Vietnamese food restaurant right across the street from Plaza Lázaro Cárdenas, I recommend it to you big time. I had lunch, among others, with my dear friend Guda Gabor, who is starting her new show at Encanto this coming Monday. Our dear friend, Dr. Mark, well, I call him Dr. Mark Hartman, the most accomplished pianist, is back in town. And along with him, wonderful performances along with Guda. And Mark is also going to be the accompanist for a couple of great artists that are coming up to the stage at Encanto. So I would keep my eyes open. My take on Mark Hartman as a pianist is if he's involved in a project, you can be guaranteed a phenomenal time. Anyhow, Mark and Guda open on Monday at 7 p.m. at Encanto, a new show called Wine, as in Whine, Wine and Cheese. And it's going to be the usual rapport between them, exchanging songs and banter and so forth and so on. But Guda has thrown in a new idea into the mix. Guda is going to have interviews with local personalities, local people from Puerto Vallarta. And the good news is that Guda has invited me to be her first interviewee on her opening night with Mark. And this is going to be on Monday night at Encanto. I have no idea what Guda is going to ask me just yet or how that's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to be expected to get shady or get snarky or if I'm just expected to play nice, but I'm ready to do all of that. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, because I hope that you will go, and to entice you further, Guda has offered a perk for anyone that buys tickets online. This is only for tickets purchased online. If you enter the magic word cheese on checkout, you will get a discount when you purchase your tickets for Gouda's Wine and Cheese show this coming Monday. I am going to leave you with the link where you can purchase tickets online if you'd like to attend this evening. I have praised my friend Gouda before for throwing a very, very traditional, old style cabaret show as a female impersonator, and she's totally old school, and we love her for that. So I recommend her show wholeheartedly. And of course, we also mentioned that on Saturday, 21st this month, we are going to hopefully get a group together and go and watch Amy Armstrong's Weed, a Love Story, her take on her experience with cannabis in one form or another. She's going to sing all kinds of wonderful songs that have to do with weed. And this, again, is something that we hope to do together. But to get tickets, all you have to do is go to the Facebook event that I'm going to share with you in the show notes, and you can get your ticket on your own. That's the way we go about this. And with that said, I think we are ready for our usual touching base with each other. I want to see how everybody is. I want to read all your wonderful good mornings, which I very much appreciate. Albert says political drama. Yes, I have been reading, and it is what it is. Hopefully you'll be able to come back to Puerto Vallarta sometime soon. Let's see. Our dear friend Eric. Oh, I never told you I visited Eric's hotel yesterday for a very special meeting and a very special surprise that I will unveil on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. Speaking of new plans for the year, I have new plans for the year, and you get to find out all about them on Tuesday during our broadcast. Let's see what else we have. Many, many, many good mornings. Colleen says, I want to be much more confident speaking and reading Spanish. That is absolutely awesome. I have all kinds of suggestions if you need any, but I think that is a great goal to have. Gina, hello, Gina. I hope you enjoyed your getaway. I know that you went away, and I am having lunch at Whiskey Kitchen today with another member of the cluster. So I will see you in a little while. Yay. Let's see. Spencer, who has been joining us for quite some time, is moving from Denver to Metro PV by November 2023. This is great. If I recall correctly, Spencer, you're coming into town sometime in the near future. If you are able to join us for our meet and greet, which will be on January the 20th, it'll be a pleasure to meet you. Yay, I am back live as house guests have departed. Christy, my heart is with you. We have commented on how sometimes holiday guests are fun to welcome, but they're also a distraction from our day-to-day lives. So I'm happy you are happy, and it's great to see you here. Let's see. Chris says, I plan to get healed up from hip replacement surgery, return to Miss Maloya for a couple months in March, and get back to walking for the long term. The pandemic postponed the surgery for 2.5 years, so getting back walking is my focus. My thoughts are with you. I love Carmen. Carmen gets feisty and says, nothing is sold on the street on Paseo de la Reforma in Mexico City. Of course, nothing gets sold there, but we got to put some faith on our lovely mayor. Sometimes I don't know what to say about our mayor, but it is what it is. And then Ricky has a cue and a report on the new Cuban restaurant, Que Bola. For dinner last night, menu was limited, but the food was delicious and truly Cuban. Staff was attempted. Music was loud, but that wasn't a problem. The problem is that over the past 100 years, Cuba has produced great music. Last night's music was only salsa pop. They have to vary their music. Currently, there are bands such as so forth and so on, and et cetera, et cetera. I tell you, Ricky, I hear you. I am of two philosophies. Number one, you can accomplish a lot in a public business, well, any business, if you choose your soundtrack correctly. And number two, music that is too loud, well, it depends on your expectation. I personally like to go to restaurants to sit down and enjoy good conversation along with good food. So music that is loud can be a problem for me. But you're absolutely correct. If anybody wanted to really provide an authentic Cuban atmosphere, there is no shortage of great Cuban music out there. My wish for the restaurant is that they will pay attention to this. Hopefully, you gave them a little suggestion while you were there. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to checking it out at some point in the future. Um, Dan says, waiting to check out the other day at Costco, we saw an entire shopping cart full of Rosca de Reyes cakes. Well, this morning, somebody posted a line of people waiting outside of Costco, a special line just to buy the King's bread. So, yes, it is a big deal. Let's see. Charles says that King's cake tradition was also celebrated in New Orleans when he was a kid. So it sounds like yours also had chewable baby Jesus inside. Barbara says last year there were 7 figurines in my Rosca. Yes, when they are larger, they tend to put more plastic figurines. So the danger of messing up your dentures increases. But it is absolutely yummy. Gina says $3.49 in Costco. I imagine those are pesos. The price for a Rosca de Reyes. But a slice of Rosca de Reyes with hot chocolate. Oh, yum, yum, yum. How long will Gouda be there? I think Gouda's run is going to be for a few months. I'm not sure the exact date when she will be performing, or she'll stop performing, but she's going to be there for a while. Derek says Gouda is old school, emphasis on old. Well, of course. I mean, at a broadcast here at Coffee and Headlines, my dear Derek, we did some research and found out that Gouda spent some time among the Aztecs. And so she's very, very, very knowledgeable of history. And I mean, she's been around. She's known a lot of personalities. We may get a chance to learn more about this on Monday night if she allows me a couple of questions back at her. We'll see what happens. Let's see what else. Dan and Kathy are going to see Amy on the January the 21st. Oh, that makes me so very happy. Yes, not only that, but I mean, of course, we know that Kathy is on a wheelchair, and she can get up and climb a few steps. But I know that takes a lot of energy for her. So just knowing that Kathy is willing to venture one flight of stairs to see Amy means the world to me. That is going to be a lot of fun. Den says very easy to purchase tickets online. It will be interesting to see how they handle the wheelchair. Well, we'll be there, and if we can be of any assistance, we'll be so very happy to assist. Do any of these shows run into March of this year? Again, Ronald, I know that the runs are extended. I know that Amy is playing until March. I don't know the exact dates. But if you look at the events that I'm going to be sharing, chances are that you will find your answer there. And if not, I assume you're coming in March, so I hope you get a chance to watch some wonderful shows while you are here. Jeff says, we'll be in Puerto Vallarta the 26th of January. Don't break your arm. I definitely will not break my arm. Let's see. I think we're there. Yes, I think we're there. Thank you very much for another Coffee and Headlines. It is always a pleasure to get together with you. As always, stay kind, stay friendly, stay mindful of your health. Remember, COVID is in the air, not in large amounts, but it's still around, and it's something for us to be concerned about. And last but not least, stay generous. You know what to do to keep us here. We are here largely thanks to you. Have a great day, and hopefully, I will see you again tomorrow.